Agony is an infamously disappointing horror game. I was vaguely aware that this game was steeped in controversy, but I thought to myself, nah, this game can't be that bad, it looks really cool. Why do so many people not like it? I began my investigation. Let's see here. Crowdfunding drama, bad reviews, upset fans, devs arguing in the Kickstarter comments about vagina textures. The average backer comment looks something like this. Hey dickheads, give me my CD key and die. Start answering this fucking messages from all you fucking piece of shit, burn in hell. I hope you enjoy all whores and alcohol you buy from our money. This crappy game costs maybe 1/4 price we send you, and you are only thieves. You stole our money. We don't have game. We can't have refund. Really hope you will burn in hell. My God. What happened here? For the full context on what happened, let's take a step back and look at the game itself so that we have a little bit of an understanding what people were so upset about. In Agony, you play as a tormented soul with no memories. You're trapped in hell. As you adventure, you'll meet some NPCs that seem to recognize you, and they definitely don't like you. They're basically telling you you're a horrible person and that you're solely responsible for everything bad that's ever happened to them. There's some mentions of a character called the Red Goddess and that you are looking for her. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole plot. There is a little bit more to it, especially since this game has like 9 billion endings. Spoiler alert, none of them are good. There is also a lot that can be learned from the environment in-game. The devs themselves stated in an interview that they wanted a lot of the story to be conveyed through exploration. Now, the problem with that, which we'll get into more depth here in a minute, is that this game is not fun to explore. And when you don't want to explore the environment, and the environment is what's telling your story, that's not a good combination. So why is this game so miserable to explore? Let's take a look at the gameplay and visuals, and we'll see why. Visually, Agony is pretty impressive. Some of the environments are insanely detailed, wonderfully disturbing, and very creative. If you look at reviews for Agony, you'll notice that pretty much all of the positive comments revolve around the game's aesthetic. While I do generally like most of the designs, and it's really the only positive thing I'm going to talk about in this review, I do have to bring up some negatives here as well. Sometimes the busyness of the environments is a major cause of frustration. It's difficult to tell some areas and rooms apart because a lot of them look really similar. It can be hard to tell where to go because there's so much going on, it's difficult to tell what's important or what you can interact with or where an opening might be. Also, this game is dark, like dark. Like, just look at this. So in this part of the game, this little monster guy thing knocks you into a pool of water. It is already very dark and difficult to see and super blurry in this tunnel, but just wait, it gets worse. So this tunnel tries to stress you out by making it so you can just barely get through it. Your breath meter is counting down, it's supposed to be kind of stressful. And in Agony, when you die, you have the opportunity as a little floating soul to go on and possess a new body so that you don't get a game over screen. The length of this underwater tunnel forces that to be what happens. So now you have your death filter on top of the already dark, blurry tunnel, and it looks like this. I ended up not being able to figure out which direction to swim because it looks like this, and I ended up dying. On my second attempt, I pumped the gamma way up as high as you can possibly make it, and it still looks exactly like this. There is nothing you can do in this tunnel to make any kind of visibility. So basically, I just watched someone else's walkthrough and kind of figured out how the tunnel is shaped and swam through that way. If you look up walkthroughs for this game, you'll see that most of them are completely blown out with the gamma cranked up to max. So I'm thinking maybe this isn't just a me problem. Even with the brightness settings up as high as you can possibly make them, some parts of the game are so dark that you still can't see anything. It literally just looks like a black screen sometimes. It kind of sucks having to play most of the game with the brightness cranked up this way because it makes it look bad. Carrying torches, by the way, does absolutely nothing to help the lighting either. Despite all of the problems, I still would give the game a pass on the visuals because, man, it's so detailed, and a lot of it really does look cool, and someone clearly cared about designing this game. Mechanically, Agony is predominantly stealth and puzzle solving. Well, I mean, puzzle solving is a little bit generous, but I don't know what else to refer to it as. The main puzzles consist of looking at various sigils painted around a room and attempting to draw them on a door that you need opened until one of them works. It's just trial and error. Another recurring puzzle is one where you walk around any given area and collect various body parts. You place these body parts in a scale or an altar wherever they need to go, and that unlocks the next room for you to enter. There's also a few mazes, but there's not much of a point in thinking of them as mazes because there's a button that you can press that shoots out a little orb and shows you exactly where to go next. Well, when the orb works anyway. Sometimes the little guy's on crack. You also have limited uses of this little orb, so when your orb juice runs out or it just gets stuck and can't pathfind on where to go next, navigating this game is what a migraine feels like. On top of the visibility issues that we covered in the visuals section, the floors in this game are very busy and jagged, and yeah, honestly, they do look really cool, but that jaggedness constantly blocks you from walking forward. You get caught on every little thing in this game, every bone, every body part, every little thing on the floor can potentially snag you and prevent you from moving. This is particularly problematic during the platforming sections of this game. There's also a part of this game where I got stuck for a little bit, and to be honest with you, I don't know if I want to tell you guys about this. It's kind of embarrassing how long I spent on it. And if you watch walkthroughs or other people playing this game, they just do it the first try, so I don't know why the hell I was on the struggle bus here. But anyway, there's this part where you jump over some logs and you're going through water and you come across this little dark area, and it's literally pitch black, but for once it's actually meant to be pitch black. There's a monster in the darkness that hits you until you die if you remain in that dark area. So it's kind of a little bit of a puzzle. The game wants you to take a torch over to this area and throw it into the darkness. The problem with that is there's literally no reason that you would think to do that. Torches have never made that type of demon go away before, so why would it now? Anyway, I got to trying to get the torch over to the dark area, and I was all excited because I finally figured out how to progress, but then...
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Okay, no big deal. The torch rolled into the water. I'll just go get another one and try again. It took me 19 times for that stupid torch to not roll back into the water when I threw it. Oh, come on, that's not that bad, you say. It is, because every time you lose the torch, you have to go back across the logs, pick up a new torch. Well, actually, you have to wait for a new torch to spawn in. Then you can pick it up. Then you have to go all the way back and hope you don't so much as touch a pinky toe to the water or it deletes your torch. It's agony. Anyway, like I said, I might be the only person that ever had that issue. I do not know why my stupid torch kept rolling into the water, but it's just an example of this game's not exactly hard or difficult, but it really tests your perseverance sometimes. I mean, oh my god, it is tedious. You know what else is tedious? The game constantly crashing. Losing a bunch of progress because you took a wrong step a little bit and you got stuck in the world while the AI freaks out. Like, actually freaks out. Look at her go. Needless to say, I am not particularly fond of the gameplay, or really any of the mechanics. None of them are fun. Most of them are extremely sluggish. I don't like games where you feel like dying isn't your fault. For example, a game like Elden Ring, when you die, it's because you messed up something, you were too slow, or something of that nature. When you die in Agony, it's usually some BS like a texture pushes you off of a ledge, or one of the enemies that can one-shot you just teleports over to you from 400 feet away for literally no reason. The gameplay is not fun. If you don't believe me, give it a try. It's just terrible. The sound design in Agony is alright. I'd like to say it's good. A lot of the environmental ambience is just perfectly gross and miserable, which suits its setting well. But then there's the voice acting. Some of it's not terrible, but it's not good.
Otherwise, before her arrival, everything was different. What else can be done to change it?
There's also a pretty common issue where sounds just cut off in weird places or don't play at all.
Or an idiot. What are you?
Obviously, for the most part, my opinion on the game after playing it is that it is not very good. Honestly, I kind of hate it. Full disclosure though, I did play the original version. I've heard that there are quality of life improvements in the unrated version that was released later on, but I wanted to see what the backers experienced. Needless to say, I can understand why they were pissed off just purely from the standpoint of the game being bad, but there's actually a lot more to this story than just that. If you take a look at the Kickstarter comments that are still up and posted to this day, something that comes up among the backers really frequently are comments like names not appearing in credits or appearing incorrectly, complaints about not receiving physical items, complaints that the game is unstable and buggy. It is. General dislike for the fact that the devs were promoting their next game at the time, Succubus, on a Kickstarter page full of problems that hadn't been addressed for Agony yet. That made people pretty upset. But the real star of the show is how upsetty spaghetti people got about censorship. When Agony was originally pitched, it was made out to be an extremely brutal adult-only gore fest full of hardcore sexual scenes and nudity. Don't get me wrong, there's nudity and there are some very disturbing scenes in the M-rated version of the game, like this one for example. Yeah, stuff like that happens a lot. It seems to be the nudity that was censored the most. In order for the devs to get their game sold on other platforms, they had to get rid of the adult-only rating. Like I said, I never played the uncensored version, so I can't say for sure, but the things that I've read were removed from the original game are butt physics. No, God, why not the butt physics? The ability to kill children characters. I mean, I don't know why the babies being built into the wall scene is okay, but whatever. Certain sex scenes were removed, gore was overall reduced, and the thing that I saw devs and backers alike arguing about constantly in the Kickstarter comments was the removal of vagina textures from all female models. This is kind of weird because when you're playing the game, literally everywhere you look, there are just wieners. It's a sausage fest. Ding dong jiggle physics everywhere you look. Apparently, the ESRB does not allow detailed female genitalia to appear in games. Having an anatomically correct female model in your game gets it an immediate adult-only rating. The butt jiggle physics had to be removed. But no, the schlongs flopping around all up in your face, that's just wholesome, pure Christian content. So long as it stays floppy, so help me God, if it's not flopping around, that's adult only. Now, I'm a woman of the people. I think if an M-rated game can have pork swords and ginormous bear milkers, so too should they be allowed to have beef curtains. Thank you. Remember, liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with your friends gets me one step closer to winning the presidency in our next election. A subscribe to me is a subscribe to the people. Anyway, there's some other minor controversies, like apparently a lot of German fans are kind of upset because it doesn't seem like Germany has gotten the unrated version of the game yet. But the last thing I want to talk about is this game's positive reviews on Steam. A lot of them tend to say things like this. Good game for bloody tits, bad game for story. Didn't know what was happening the whole 8 hours I played. Enjoyed the tits. I feel I've got to. 15 people found that review useful. Listen to me. There is absolutely no way that suffering through this game is worth a couple breasticles. There aren't even that many, and there certainly aren't any other lady bits. Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate both have gratuitous nudity and are actually good games. Maybe go give those games a good review. Oh, and wait, before you go, I have one more quick thing to say to you. A couple people asked me to make other social media, so I made a Twitter for this YouTube page. I hate Twitter, but I will be using it to announce things and when I'm going live on Twitch. I'll have a bunch of links in the description below, so yeah, check them out if you feel like it. I